huge honor to be here. I've had high regard for Dr. Sue since, oh my gosh, since we were grad students. I got to go to grad school with Ming and Sarah Fabricant and some other really stellar people. And I knew those folks were smart, but actually I never realized when I was a grad student that I would be working so closely with Ming in the field of GIS and geography education. So it's been really nice. So you grad students out there, you think that you're going to not see each other again, but actually if you've got some aligned interests, it could lead to some really good lifelong relationships, friendships, publications, research studies. So I think it's really rewarding. And so I've had a lot of respect for your department for lots of years. So you're doing all the right things here. Breaking down walls, departmental walls, spreading geospatial technology and the geography perspective to other departments on campus. And that's exactly what we need to do, which is actually the focus of this short 3 hours that we have together. Just kidding, just kidding. This wee bit of time that we have together to try to support your efforts in bringing the geography, the geographic perspective, and spatial technologies to your colleagues in other disciplines. Because it's all fine if we all sort of gather on Friday afternoon and just have this sort of geo hug, but if we don't tell other folks out there the importance of why we're doing what we're doing and why it matters to 21st century society, well, then we're not really going to be change agents, and I know you all want to be, because it seems like, to me, the longer I'm in this field, we are here basically because we want to be changing the planet, right? We want to make the planet more sustainable, we want to help people be successful, and so on. So, I mean, that's the nice ethos of our discipline, I think, and it's, again, hugely rewarding to be here among you talking about these things. So I just want to lay out a couple of things here, one of which is this piece of information here. If we delay, okay, then I don't think that's wise. I think that's dangerous. And, going back to Shakespeare's time. So another thing that I wanted to say is that Shakespeare loved maps. Look at this quote right here. "A plate upon it, I have forgot the map." So, see, geography and spatial thinking, it goes way back in time. So here's what I want to focus on with you all today. First of all, so there's some important forces, I think, that are acting beyond this classroom here, and beyond this department, and beyond this university, that I think are perhaps, hopefully, leading to a tipping point in the things that you and I believe in so firmly. And then talk a little bit about, okay, what are some key developments? You probably would expect me to talk about some of the things from the geotechnology side. What are some key things for you, especially grad students, to think about as you move forward in this field? And then also along the same lines, well, what kinds of skills should I be mindful of as I move forward? And I'd like to talk about some things that maybe you won't expect in there. So I don't know, we all have our stories, right, that we could share. And how many of you were like map geeks when you were, teenagers or younger even? Okay, so you were the person that kind of held the old style family atlas on your lap when you were in the car or on hikes. You were the one that had the topo map out, a paper map even, or recording your hike on your phone or your GPS unit or whatever, right? So we kind of have a little bit of commonality in that regard. And also, did you have some sort of watershed moment that nudged you into this? How many of you had sort of maybe a series of moments that kind of nudged you into, this is why I want to do and this is what I want to do? Now for me, it was reading The Great Auk, The Last Great Auk. So you get to the end of the book and it's sort of a fictionalized account fictionalized in the sense of those last great auks were given personalities, and you follow the last family, and you get to the end and you get to 1842 and you know that they're going to be clubbed on that island off of Iceland. You're like, no way, this can't happen, we got to stop this. So, I'm reading this as an 11-year-old saying, this cannot go on. We've got to do something about this. So for me, that was my book as a watershed moment, being an 11-year-old. So why is this all relevant? But first, before I go there, I just want to show you one of the geeky maps, since you won't laugh at me. This is actually what I did as a teenager. I made these huge maps on poster board, all paper and pencil, I ran out of last names of my friends to name all my streets, so I had to go to the phone book to find more names. I even had address ranges on my maps, and that was pretty geeky. But you probably didn't relate because you did some nerdy, geeky things too, right? As a young person, and we still do, right? We can still. That's one of my messages today is going to be, you know, how can we enjoy what we're doing and also contribute to society? So, as Dr.